The Manuscript of Survival, Part 423. August 13, 2014. For eons, mankind has been defined as consisting of single entities, carrying out their life's work in hardship and toil from birth to death, for then to cease to exist altogether. In other words, you as humans have been defined as someone simply existing between the first and the last breath you take, and whatever comes before or indeed after that, is a subject shrouded in mystery. Be that as it may, you have by now managed to open your eyes to the fact that a human life as you used to define it is simply the proverbial tip of the iceberg, or even less so. For by now, you have started to tap into the rich vein that constitutes the real you, the one that is not confined within any physical limits, but who has chosen to define one part of themselves as a human. Let us explain. The notion of a limited time of life that has driven mankind almost to the brink of extinction in the quest for some kind of immortality, either by way of fame, fortune or even infamy, is no longer one that needs to apply to any of you. For you have seen through the make-believe that made you all believe in this falseness earlier on, and so, you have chosen to step out from the shadows of mortality and to re-enter the world of eternal existence. For you know fully well that even if the at times frail physical vehicle you inhabit one day will be reduced to dust, you will live on, just as you have done countless times before. For you are not your body, and even if that is more than apparent to most of you at this stage, you still find time to question this fact whenever said physical frame seems to limit your capabilities to soar above these defined limitations it still seems to hold. Be that as it may, for you will all relearn how to conduct a limitless life within an apparently delimited physical frame, and as such, the need to spread your wings fully again is one that will be fulfilled for all. You see, you are learning to ignore the old voice of reason as it is called, and instead, you are remembering how to listen to the voice of freedom, the one that is coming from those parts of you that are very much unfettered by the parts that make up your human counterpart. And now, you will all learn how to combine these two seemingly incompatible elements in a very new way, much akin to mixing fire and water without detriment to either. You see, what you are about to do, is literally to take that fabled quantum leap that will remove you from your old station as it were, and let you set your sights on something much, much broader in scope, and yes, we do mean that in every sense of the word. But again, we would like to remind you that you are in this human frame for a very good reason, so what we are referring to is not about vanishing from the face of this earth, not by a long shot. For you are still very much to be here, to be the grounded part if you will of this celestial tree that grows all the way up to heavens and beyond. For without you as the roots, this magnificent tree of life could not make it here at all. Again, we speak in riddles, so let us try to give you a more detailed explanation. As many of you have seen already, your role as pioneers is indeed so much more than being way showers for the rest of mankind. For not only will you be able to prove to them that life as they know it is simply not the end of it, you will also be the ones who will enable this total turnaround by acting as those formerly mentioned anchors, the missing link if you will between what cannot yet be seen by the majority and all of the potential that resides here on this planet. For you are the ones making this connection secure, the ones that have established this channel of interaction between your home planet and the rest of creation in a way that has set this whole plan into action. For you are the conduits that are necessary for it all to come together, and so far, what you have accomplished is indeed nothing short of miraculous, as we have already told you on numerous occasions. But now, you will also start to serve in a much more complex way, as the harbingers of a new dawn, but also as the carriers of the torch of freedom. Let us elaborate. As usual, we use lofty words, but they are not overstating anything at all. For you are indeed major players in a huge and complex operation that has by now very much changed into a new and much more efficient gear. And so, as you walk about, you are literally reigniting some deeply hidden deposits of energetic imprints that again will help to speed up this process immensely. We know that this will not be news to any of you, for this is indeed a subject that we have touched upon earlier, But now, we would like to give you a few examples of what it is that you do in your roles as torchbearers for this highly complex galactic event, involving myriads of beings on many levels of evolutionary development. You see, you have planted your roots deep into the soil on this planet you call your home, and the first of these roots were put down that very first time you entered this realm within a human body. As we have told you earlier, your history as a human goes back a long, long way, and every single time you return to these shores, you brought with you a new batch of energetic information that was encapsulated and secreted away into the deeper layers of this planet. This will sound more than a little improbable to some of you, but remember, you have never been confined by the physical limits of your body. That is simply a figment of your imagination, and it has always been so. But for eons, you very much carried out this important part of your work undercover as it were, and that includes from your own abilities to consciously connect to the real reason for you to come here in the first place. And so, you returned again and again, planting ever deeper roots every single time, and each time, what you brought in carried with it a vital piece of energetic information that was connected to what you had brought in before. And so, bit by bit, piece by piece, this earthly library grew into a vast underground network of interconnected sleeping cells, if you will, all lying there dormant, ready to be taken into full use when the time came for them to be activated. And now, these lights are coming on, one by one, starting to illuminate a part of mankind's environment that you have yet to discover. But even if you still fail to notice much of the influence it has already started to have on you all, your abilities to detect it will continue to grow at a rapid rate now. And so, your roles as this hub or vital connector point will only grow in magnitude, as you will be the ones that will be able to access all of this formerly inactive information, and then, you will be guided closely just how to utilize it for the benefit of all. For these treasures are not to be hoarded, they are to be dispersed far and wide, in ways that will bring about such a total shift in the lives of everyone that comes into contact with it. Again, you are not here for the benefit of you as a single entity, you are here to ensure that the collective will and can benefit from this in a way that will bring about a major shift for all of mankind, and so, what you do as single individuals will have implications that reaches far beyond what you today consider as your own individual energetic space. For you are no longer just as small bubbles of light on a vast, darkened ocean. No, you have by now coalesced into a huge, shimmering sphere that encompasses your entire globe. And the roots that you have laid down one by one has also grown together to form a single structure of energetic support that will carry you all in a basket of flexible but sturdy branches of light. So as you walk upon this earth, you set off a veritable cascade of sparks that will go off in all directions, and in turn ignite new sparks whenever they encounter another part of this huge network. And just like the signals traveling at the speed of light within the passages in your brain, your initiated conversation will fly around this whole planet at an unprecedented pace. And so, every single day, you set off more and more of these enlightened reactions under your very feet, and every single day, new information is being anchored into this vast network from the outer reaches of creation through your own body. For you act as the connectors, the ones that ensure that the communication between your world and the rest of creation is seamless, in every sense of the word. And even if you at times will feel less than invigorated by everything that is going on, know that you are definitely not holding up this conversation and indeed conversion of energy in any way, far from it. For at this stage, you have all become so accomplished at this multi-level and highly dynamic way of communication, and now, all it takes, is for you to prick up your ears and start to listen in more. You see, you are no longer being kept in the dark as it were, in fact, you never have been, but to ensure the safety of each individual and indeed this whole operation, you have been kept unconscious of most of this up until now. But now, you can start to listen in as much as you like, for after all, you not only play an important part as the channel for all of this incessant communication, you also put more than your 2 cents worth in. For you are not simply a messenger, you are also a part of the message, and so, what you will find when you start to manage to tune into it all will be a very familiar voice, the voice of that magnificent, multidimensional being that is the real you, the one you perhaps thought you had lost contact with, the one that you perhaps had forgotten all about. But now, the time has come for you to start to listen and to find out so much more about your own roots, in every sense of the word, and in every way. The Constant Companions. Channeled by Asia North. asianorth.wordpress.com